Good morning, everyone. Someone wrote in and asked me what it's like to be a medium, and they actually said, in other words, what's it like to be you? And I say I'm the same as everybody else. I, walk the same as everybody else. I may think a little different than some people because of what I do. My prayer life is very strong. My meditation life is very strong. I try to live my life in a way that would be pleasing to God. I try to help people if I can, but I've always been like this, and I know that there are many people out there like me. Um, I can't say it's not different. I think my growing up years were a little more difficult for me because I understood that not everybody was able to see what I saw or hear what I heard, and I recognized the fact that I was different from others, and that was a little hard. Socially, growing up, it was a little more difficult for me. I was connecting with spirit and didn't even understand, didn't know sometimes that they were spirit, couldn't tell, the dead from the living. But as a child, your ability is much stronger when you're a child as far as you're seeing. Babies see very clearly. Like my grandmother always said, and I've told you this before, she always said that babies are fresh from heaven, and that's why they see they're still connected to the other side. So certainly, as a child, I recognized the fact that my friend Patty, who was my imaginary friend, that to me I saw just like I saw anyone else. As I got older, it became less and less with Patty, but I have Patty in my life again now. She is my joy guide, and I understood as an adult that she has been with me throughout my lifetime, and she was not imaginary at all. She lived in the world of spirit, and she died as a child, and that's why she always showed herself to me as a child. But I can remember playing with her like I would play with another child. So in that way, it was very different. So I have to say, then, growing up, it was different for me. As an adult, I lead a relatively normal life. But I have to say that a big part of my life is consumed with what I do. You know, um, it isn't always easy. I shared with you before that most of my clientele are parents who have lost children. That is an extremely difficult loss. I know all loss is difficult, but in our minds and hearts, we know that we probably will have to say goodbye to grandparents and parents. It's not within our minds that we'll have to bury a child one day or say goodbye to a child one day in death. So that is, to me, the most difficult of all passings. So it's a little more difficult for me to pull my grief back, or not feel their grief. I'm still human, so I feel for anyone who comes here who is suffering a loss. So in that respect, it's a little more difficult. But because I do this work, I have a firm belief and understanding that their loved ones are okay. So I never feel any grief for those who have passed because I know they're in a beautiful place, they're in a wonderful place, they're where they're supposed to be, and they're where they want to be. And that's the one thing I try to get across to parents, that no matter if their child was stillborn or 5 years old or 10 years or 17 or 21 or 50, they'll take that final breath when it's God's time. Their mission here, their lifetime was done. So for someone who passes at 5 years old, to me, they were 95 years old because their lifetime here, as it was destined to be, was complete. So, in that respect, I guess it's a little different for me because my reasoning is a little different. My belief may be a little stronger and different than others, but I hope and feel like I'm like everyone else, and I know there's many like me out there. Okay, so I'm basically the same. When I'm done with this recording today, I will go about my day and uh, you know visit my mother. She's now in a rehab nursing home, and I will visit with her, and I will interact with family, and do everything that I have to do. I won't cook because I'm not a good cook. So I can cook good in a crock pot, but anybody can do that. So I'm not a great cook. So my husband and I will eat out as much as we can. But other than that, I always joke and I say, if I really, really like you and you come here, I'll probably order out because I want you to come back. If I don't want you to come back again, then I'll probably cook for you. That's not to say I've never cooked for people that I really like, but I've learned that I am really not a good cook, so that's the way it goes. So, but that's me. I am who I am. I don't try to be anybody else. I don't, try to make people feel that I have this great ability, because I accept and believe that every single one of us have this God-given gift and ability from God. And, I just choose to use it in a way that I feel is pleasing to God and a way to help others. Okay? So I hope that answers your question. And as always, I leave you in God's love and light.